You are 24 years old. Your bank account shows $1,380. That number is about to split into two completely different lives. Same city, same job offer, same Monday morning. But one of you is going to make a single decision in the next 72 hours that will be worth over $1 million by the time you're 42. The other one won't. And neither of you will feel the difference for at least 3 years. This is what actually happens. Path A, the architect, age 24. Your first take-home paycheck is $2,060. The job is mid-level admin at a supply chain firm. The building is unremarkable. Your supervisor is a deliberate woman named Claire. She answers questions once. You learn to write things down. 3 days after your first paycheck clears, you open a Roth IRA. Balance, 0. You fund it with $250. It feels meaningless. You do it anyway. You set a recurring transfer. $250 per month. Fire in the morning after every payday. Automated. Invisible. Gone before you miss it. You build a budget with 3 columns. Income. Fixed. Everything else. Your rent is $810 for a room in a 3-person apartment. The bathroom situation is not ideal. The math is, you cook at home 5 nights a week. Not because you're disciplined. Because you ran the numbers and the alternative is another $340 a month you don't have. By the end of year 1, your Roth IRA holds $3,000. Your high-yield savings account holds $2,200, earning 4.8% APY. You built the emergency fund first. You understood why before you started. It's not about the interest rate. It's about not needing to raid the investment account when something breaks. Path B, the spender. Age 24. Same paycheck. $2,060. Same city. Same type of job. You sign a lease on a 1-bedroom for $1,090. Your own space. It matters to you. That part is legitimate. What isn't legitimate is a car, a 60-month loan, for $118 a month, plus $211 for insurance. You needed a car. The trim package was a choice you told yourself wasn't a choice. You eat out 5 nights a week, not extravagantly. A bar tab on Thursday. Take out twice. A Sunday brunch that costs $53 and feels earned. You open a savings account. You put in $150. 6 weeks later, $110 of it covers a concert you really want to see. By the end of year 1, you have $310 in savings. You have $1,580 in credit card debt at 26.99% APR. The minimum payment is $43. You pay the minimum. The balance does not move. It grows. Age 25 to 26. The divergence begins. Path A. You receive a $2,400 raise in year 2. You do not upgrade your apartment. You upgrade the investment. Roth IRA contribution goes to $400 a month. Savings account gets $175 on autopilot. You spend an afternoon reading about expense ratios. One number sticks, 0.03%. That's the cost of a total market index fund. You move everything into it. You stop reading about investing for a while. There's nothing left to do. At 26, your Roth IRA holds $11,200. The market dropped 14% in 1 quarter. The balance fell to $8,700 in about 2 months. You bought more, not from bravado, from conviction. You knew the underlying assets hadn't changed, only the price tag. Your emergency fund reaches $5,400 for months of living expenses. You stop adding to it and redirect every dollar above that threshold into a taxable brokerage account. A colleague named Jordan mentions he's getting licensed in real estate. You file the information. Not yet, but noted. Path B. Same raise. Same number. Different outcome. You move to a new apartment at 25. Rent goes to $1,320. The building has a rooftop. You use it twice before the novelty wears off. You buy a sectional on a buy now pay later plan. $1,600, 0 interest for 18 months. You forget the end date. The interest kicks in retroactively at 29.99%. That's how it works. The clause was on page 3. You didn't read page 3. The credit card balance climbs from $1,580 to $3,200. You open a second card. The reward sign-up bonus requires $4,500 in spending over 90 days. You've hit it. The bonus is 55,000 points. You feel like you won something. You did not win something. By 26, you're carrying $5,100 in consumer debt across 2 cards. The car loan balance is $17,800. Savings, $520. Emergency fund, an intention, not a number. The gap at age 26. Path A, $11,200 invested. $5,400 in savings. 0 consumer debt. Net worth approximately $16,600. Path B, $5,100 in credit card debt. $17,800 in car loan. $520 in savings. Net worth approximately negative $22,380. The distance between these two people, $38,980. They have the same income, the same education, the same amount of time in the same week. The difference is $212 a month redirected and 3 decisions not made. Age 27 to 29. The first property, Path A. At 27, you start looking at secondary markets, smaller cities within a 2-hour drive, not glamorous markets, boring ones with stable renter demand and low price-to-rent ratios. You find a duplex listed at $124,000. You drive out on a Saturday with a contractor named Victor. His assessment, structurally solid, cosmetic work needed. Estimate, $8,100. You spend 8 months preparing. You pay off a $3,400 remaining student loan. You clean the credit report. You document every income source on paper. You save the down payment without touching the investment accounts. That's the rule you made for yourself and kept. At 28, you close. Purchase price $124,000. Down payment $24,800. Saved over 22 months. Mortgage, $571 a month. Unit 1 rents for $775. Unit 2 rents for $740. Gross monthly income, $1,515. After insurance, property taxes, and an 11% maintenance reserve, net cash flow, $638 a month. It is not passive. You answer texts about the hot water heater. You coordinate repair appointments. But the math is real, and it runs while you're at your day job. Path B, at 27, your salary has reached $54,000. The lifestyle is tracking it closely. You take a trip to Mexico in March. $2,400 on a card, already carrying a balance. You pay the minimum through June. You get promoted at 27. New title. Pay rises to $61,000. You celebrate at a steakhouse. The bill is $138. You put on the rewards card. You tell yourself you're earning points. You believe this. The first car loan ends. You lease a new one. The monthly payment is $447. Early termination on the old lease costs $3,100. You didn't read that clause either. By 29, you carry $7,400 in credit card debt across 3 cards, a $94 gym membership you use inconsistently, and a streaming bundle of $52 a month covering 4 services, 2 of which you haven't opened since last winter. You're paying $1,480 per month in debt and subscriptions before rent. You open a 401k this year. You contribute 3%. Your employer matches up to 5%. You leave 2% on the table every single month. Annualized, that's $1,220 in free compensation. You decline by not reading the enrollment form carefully. Age 29 to 32. The compounding becomes visible. Path A. The duplex works. Not flawlessly. Month 6. A tenant is 11 days late. Month 10. The furnace in Unit 2 needs replacing. $940. Absorbed by the maintenance reserve. Replenished over 4 months. You raise rents 4.5% at the 1-year renewal. Both tenants stay. Net monthly cash flow moves to $674. At 29, your Roth IRA and brokerage combined hold $53,700. The 401k shows $24,100. Total invested, $77,800. The compounding doesn't announce itself. You just open accounts occasionally, and the numbers are larger than you expected. You change jobs at 30. Salary goes to $79,000. You raise the 401k contribution from 5% to 10%. The lifestyle doesn't move. Same apartment, same grocery list. You start researching a second property. At 31, you close on a triplex. Purchase price $162,000. 3 units. Net monthly cash flow after all costs, $880. Between both properties, your real estate income is $1,554 a month. Path B. At 29, you're earning $64,000. Things feel manageable, not great, but manageable. You move in with a partner. Rent splits. Spending doesn't. 2 lifestyles layered on one shared lease. At 31, the relationship ends. The apartment has 7 months left on it. You cover it alone. Rent is $1,720. Take home is $3,940 a month. The math barely clears. Credit card debt, $9,800. No savings to speak of. The 401k holds $14,200. You cash out $4,500 to cover a month where everything collapsed at once. The 10% early withdrawal penalty costs $450. The taxes cost $990. You receive $3,060. You needed $3,800. The difference goes on a card. At 32, net worth, approximately $16,200. You don't look at it directly. You know the shape of the number without seeing it. Looking won't change it. You don't look. The midpoint gap. Age 32. Path A, $77,800 invested. $1,554 in monthly real estate cash flow. 2 properties. Net worth approximately $147,000. Path B, 401k partially liquidated. Balance $10,900. $9,800 in credit card debt. $14,400 in remaining vehicle obligations. Net worth, $16,200. Distance between these 2 people, $130,800. At 7% average annual return, the $147,000 path, a holds today becomes $590,000 in 20 years without adding a single additional dollar. The debt path B carries cost money every month just to stay still. They are the same age. They made roughly the same income for 10 years. One redirected $212 a month at 24 and held a system that never required willpower, just automation and patience. The other built a spending system without naming it that. Both systems compounded. Age 33 to 40. The divergence becomes permanent. Path A. At 34, salary reaches $88,000. You max the Roth IRA for the first time, $7,000 annually. You max the 401k, $23,500. The taxable brokerage receives whatever remains after expenses and reserves. At 35, you close on a third property, a small 4-unit building in a secondary market. Net monthly cash flow after all costs, $1,020. Total real estate income, $2,574 a month. At 38, total investment accounts hold $512,000. Real estate equity across 4 properties, $244,000. Combined net worth, $756,000. You have never leased a car. You drive a 2020 Honda Accord with 88,000 miles on it. It works. You see no reason to fix that. You hire a fee-only financial planner at 38. She charges $5,200 a year. Within 90 days, she identifies a depreciation schedule across your properties that reduces your taxable income by $34,000 annually. She surfaces a trust structure you hadn't considered. The fee saves $9,400 in taxes in year one. You renew the contract the same week. Path B. At 33, you consolidate the car debt. A personal loan at 12.4% APR. $9,800 rolled in. The monthly payment is $210. You feel relief. The cards are paid off. You do not close the cards. By 36, two of them carry balances again. A promotion at 34 brings a salary to $76,000. The apartment upgrade follows. Rent becomes $2,000. The neighborhood is genuinely better. The commute is shorter. These are real benefits. They cost $380 more a month before you count the daily spending that moves with your zip code. A medical procedure at 36 costs $5,100 after insurance. You don't have $5,100. You put on a card at 23.99% APR. You pay the minimum. At 38, 401k balance $44,000. Credit card debt $13,200. Personal loan balance $2,800. No real estate. No brokerage account. No Roth IRA. Net worth approximately $28,000. You are not in crisis. You go to work. You pay the bills. The month ends. The next one starts. The needle doesn't move. You have been functional for 15 years and have very little to show for it structurally. That is its own kind of weight. Age 40. The final picture. Path A. You open the brokerage app on a Wednesday afternoon. The balance reads $574,000. The 401k shows $211,000. The Roth IRA shows $127,000. Real estate equity across 4 units, $252,000. Total net worth, $1,164,000. The real estate produces $2,574 a month without your direct labor. Your salary is $96,000. You save 36% of gross income. The compounding on $912,000 in invested assets at historical averages means your wealth grows by approximately $63,800 this year while you are asleep. Your father's medical care costs $2,900 a month. You cover it without a second conversation. It is a line item. You have options, not freedom in the abstract sense, but concrete, modeled, stress-tested options. You can walk away from your salary at 44. You have run the numbers under 3 scenarios, conservative, base, and stress case. All 3 work. What you are able to do is simply larger than what you are required to do. Path B. Net worth, $64,000. Most of it locked in a 401k you cannot access for another 19 years without penalty. Checking account, $2,400. Savings, $3,900. Rent, $2,200 a month, up every year for 9 consecutive years. You cannot buy a home. The down payment would require 2 years of disciplined saving. You have not yet built a system that makes 2 years of disciplined saving possible. Credit card balance, $2,800. Minimum payment, $74. Interest rate, 22.49%. At the minimum, this debt takes 12 years to clear. You are not paying the minimum on purpose. You are paying the minimum because the budget is tight and the balance has been sitting there so long that it no longer feels like an emergency. It has become part of the furniture. You are not lazy. You went to work every day for 18 years. You paid your bills. You built a life that looks fine from the outside, but the architecture underneath it was always a spending system, not a building system. And here is the only thing that was ever true. Systems compound. Both kinds. Every single time. Path A at 40. Net worth, $1,164,000. Monthly passive income, $2,574. Options, expanding. Path B at 40. Net worth, $64,000. Monthly passive income, 0. Salary required. Margin, thin. The gap between these two people is over $1.1 million. 18 years ago, they had the same $2,060 paycheck. the same Sunday night, the same vague anxiety about whether they were doing enough. One of them set up a $250 recurring transfer before the weekend was over, before the doubt crept in, before the question of whether it was worth it. The other one didn't. The Monday after that decision still came. For both of them, it always does.